shout out to all the beautiful women around the world, you feel me? Do what you do, you feel me? Like I'm on some, you know, we can connect, we can chill, you know what I'm saying? Top flow, you know what I'm saying? 60 flows up tight, feel me? Hey, yeah.
What's going on, YouTube, social media world? It's your boy AnonymousBased, and I'm biggity back with a new reaction video. This time I'm here with something brand new from It's Complicated. But before we get into that, if you're new to the channel, go ahead and give this video a like, share with a couple of your friends. Make sure you follow me on all my social media sites. And if you got something specific, go ahead and drop it in that comment section. So, we are here with something brand new from It's Complicated. Shout out to you, brother. And the name of this video is called Valuable and Disposable. Rules of Modern Dating and Understanding Women. Alright, let's go ahead and get into it, man. We're gonna see how crazy this video gets, man.
Are women more valuable than men?
Yes.
Why?
Stop the cap.
Why?
Starting
Because
off
we're
with
better.
the cap.
Because they can give birth to children, and we can't.
Because we give birth. And without women, you wouldn't be able to have kids. I mean, without men, you wouldn't be.
It's funny how they always use that as a way to flex about how they're quote-unquote better or not. But what's interesting about it is that even though they use that as a good selling point, they argue amongst themselves about whether they even want to go through with that or not. So I find it kind of interesting that they use that as their primary reason for why they think that they're better. But then they argue back and forth about whether you should even do it or not. So it's crazy.
Be able to have kids technically, but like who's gonna raise them, you know?
So if a woman can't have kids, does that mean she's less valuable?
No.
So what makes women more valuable even if they can't have kids?
Because we're awesome, understanding, better communicators. I feel like we think logically, you know?
They're nicer to look at in the end. I'll say that.
Okay.
Women have value, don't get me wrong, but like somewhere behind that valuable woman is a man instilling that value in her.
There we go.
Because a woman is soft. She's power. She's God. She's able to have a child, so you can give her the world, but it's not even big enough for her.
Can a woman have a child without a man's seed?
I believe so.
How?
That's a question up for y'all to answer.
Well, I mean, scientifically, it's never been proven that a woman can have a child without a man's seed. So why are women looked at as God, as the creators of life, when they can't do it without a man?
Thank you.
That's a great question, and that's something I've been wrapping my head around for many years trying to figure out why.
Bro, you're up here trying to simp and you're up here trying to cape. And then when It's Complicated hits you with the logic, you don't know how to respond, bro. Just take the L, man.
Do we treat women so high when a man is 50% of the reason why a child is born?
It's a simp mentality.
Thank
you know,
you.
like it's a mindset that's going on
I literally
for
just said that.
hundreds of years. You know, like people are programmed to think they have to save a woman.
Right.
Is it a man's job to protect women?
At times, yeah, it is.
Why is that?
Because we come from a woman, got our name from a woman, and our game from a woman. You heard me?
But women also come from men.
It's just how life is, and that's how it's always going to be. Remember what I told you. It's been like this beginning of time.
I feel like without women, you wouldn't really have world order, you know? Like who causes all the wars and all the problems? It's men, right?
Why do we blame the male gender for causing war and violent crime when men are the biggest victims of war and violent crime?
Thank you.
Damn.
Great question.
Why do we blame the male gender for causing war and violent crime when men are the biggest victims of war and violent crime?
Because they tend to insert themselves within the violent crimes and war.
The ones who fight the war get blamed, not necessarily the ones who cause the war.
I don't know that men are the biggest victims. I think men are definitely victims, but I think families are victims. I think children are victims.
Now, if men were more valuable in society, why would they be the first ones sacrificed in war?
Because they're not valuable.
There's a concept called male disposability. We as a culture don't care about the problems that uniquely or disproportionately impact men.
That's true.
Male homelessness,
That's true.
3/4 of men, male suicide,
Yep.
80% of men, war deaths, 99.999% of men. We don't care as a culture about anything that impacts men. The best you'll hear is people talking about men's mental health.
Yep.
And it's always followed by so they can be productive and help the culture.
Mental health, physical health, all that has been looked aside unless they're bringing something to the table.
Thank you.
Whether it be financial or whether it be security in some sort of way in the household these days. I'm not quite sure what happened and how that happened, where men and their needs are looked over.
Is having a child the most selfish thing you can do, or is it the most unselfish thing you can do?
Unselfish.
Why?
Why? Because as soon as you have a child, then everything else is second to that child. You put the child first.
Are women doing the world a favor by having kids?
Doing the world a favor? No, I think the world's overpopulated.
Do you think women are doing the world a favor by having kids?
Yes.
Aren't they just creating more traffic?
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Oh man,
We are
goddamn.
the queens of the universe. Men have forgot that we are the queen of the universe. We are the womb. Without us,
Stop
we
the
cannot
cap.
create life. This universe would not thrive without women. And men seem to forget that, and women give that power
Stop
to
the
men
cap.
to forget that.
Do women create life or do women carry life?
We do both.
I mean, doesn't it take two people?
It does. However, if you have an island with 12 men and 1 woman, you would have a thriving society. However, if you have, 12 women and 1 man, you would only have a limited society, and it would not grow on from here on out. For 100 years, you would not have anything.
But don't men create more life since they can get more women pregnant?
No, because if you have 1 man and 12 women, you have a thriving society because women create the life. However, if you have one woman and 12 men, you get a lot.
Okay, I stopped it because she contradicted her, so she got it flipped. Then when he hit her with that quick fire logic, then she flipped it and said it the correct way. I'm gonna play this clip back, but you're gonna see she said it wrong at first.
With 12 men and 1 woman, you get more.
If a man can impregnate multiple women a day, why do women often consider themselves to be the creators of life?
Probably because we grow a child in our womb.
Men are involved in the actual insemination, but to nurture a child and to have your body grow and produce that life, it means something so much larger than just inseminating an egg.
I don't know if this is the answer you're looking for, but this is why male birth control needs to be a thing. Why are my hormones being messed up when I can only have 1 baby? And literally, like you said, men can impregnate so many women.
If women pride themselves on being able to repopulate a society, why are women often the ones pushing for monogamy?
Because we want to feel special.
Monogamy is something that only benefits a woman. It's not something that actually makes sense. It's just an idea that makes them feel good in their own head.
Thug nigga to the end, tell a friend,
bitch. Abortion rights, equal pay.
Like abortion rights, women's rights, equal pay, equal opportunity.
Male privilege is a very real thing. We still see pay gaps. We still see, we can't walk home from the bars at night.
How can 1 minute feminists claim they can't walk down the street at night by herself, but the next minute claim that they can fight in wars as good as men do?
I mostly feel comfortable walking down the street by myself in most situations, not all. But I've also never been to war, so.
I know there's things you can protect yourself nowadays, but if you swear you can't walk down the street by yourself, then don't even talk about fighting in the war, because you'll get your head blown off real fast.
I feel like the war with women on women, I feel like if we really want to get to a better place with feminism, then we need to bring each other up and not see each other as competition.
Can you name any men's issues?
Treating women right.
Nope.
Oh my God, suicide for men. Really, no one actually understands
My friend used to pay $163 for car insurance. Now look how much he pays.
Yeah, we don't
Most
care about
insurance
your car
understands
insurance.
how bad that is. Everybody make it seem like it's only female and kids, but I feel like men, their race is worse than women.
Women on this planet are here to procreate, be empathetic to men, and to teach people how to be empathetic and give empathy with other people.
Should society be...
If that's the case and y'all are so empathetic, then why is it that every time a man decides he wants to be vulnerable or open up to you about some things that he's dealing with, and confiding in you as a support system, as his helpmeet, as his confidant of going through the relationship and going through life, how come every time a man decides that he feels the need to do that, y'all shut it down, y'all don't want to hear it, y'all lose attraction for the guy, and then you eventually use it against him, and then you break up with him? So I would argue that y'all are not empathetic.
Stop the cap.
Concerned with the growing epidemic of male loneliness?
Probably. I mean, it's definitely a concern along with, the million other concerns. But yes, male loneliness is a problem.
I think men have to worry about that, but us as women, that's not our problem right now, and we're definitely being a lot more self-sufficient. So that's definitely a male problem to deal with.
Men handle loneliness very different than how women handle loneliness, and I feel like the way men handle it could be dangerous to themselves and others.
One day they might decide to end it all, and now everybody's sad and depressed. When that man was asking for help, nobody cared.
Yep, there you go.
Can men be improved by shaming them?
No. I don't think you can improve anyone by shaming them.
So we can't improve women by shaming them either, right?
No.
Understanding and communication is the only thing that's going to improve all of us.
If women won't change for men, why do we keep expecting men to step up and change for women?
I'm not sure, but I do know when women walk around with fake lips, fake nails, fake boobs, fake hair, fake tan, and they want a real man, that throws me all the way off.
I don't know if it's much of a change. I think it's just like demanding to be treated equally.
If men are more valued in society, why would they be the first ones sacrificed in war?
Damn, that's a great question. I guess just because the females feel like we're more, that's a masculine job, a masculine duty.
If being a masculine man means accepting the burden of others, why would anyone want to be a man by that definition?
It shows selflessness and humility and the willingness to accept somebody else.
Really?
If being masculine is a natural process, why are men often shamed to be sculpted that way?
I think that because that's what's been shown in society, in our movies and media and TV for so long, that a different version of man has just become more socially accepted.
Why don't we acknowledge historically that if women had it bad, men usually had it worse? Weren't men also oppressed?
Not as much as women were.
Oh, here we go.
Well, how were women more oppressed than men?
Here we go.
I mean, back then women had no rights, really. They couldn't vote.
Here we
they couldn't
go.
Work, stuff like that, and stuff like, stuff like in the Middle East, certain things women can't do over there as well.
Didn't men have harsher tasks placed upon them? Weren't men sacrificed under more hazardous conditions?
I would say yes and no,
Gotcha,
but those
bitch.
are the things we were willing to do.
Come on, man.
No one
Keep
forced
it
us to do
real.
it.
Keep it real.
So men weren't forced to be drafted or work in the coal mines or...
All right, well, that's a different.
Ah.
So I would say we were forced to be drafted and work in coal mines.
So then why don't we ever talk about the oppression of men as opposed to the oppression of women?
Men had that shit terrible. We was, all these wars that happened back then, we was fighting that. Not saying it's like y'all couldn't, but y'all wasn't.
Because I usually think for us as men, our views, our feelings don't matter according to society standards and stuff like that.
Isn't that something that we should change?
That is something we should change, actually.
If women don't need men, why don't they build a female-only civilization on an island or a female-only...
Yo, I said the same thing, bro.
How it's done.
Same
That's a really good idea. That should happen. I don't know why it hasn't.
I mean, they could start a GoFundMe page, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, why not?
What do women need men for?
Not a lot. No, nothing.
We need men to live. I'm gonna lie to you. We need men to live. To guide us on just a little bit.
What do women need men for?
Just for the few steps that they don't know, like what to do, because I feel like men know more than women's, maybe smart-wise, book-wise, street-wise. So just like having a man there for an extra step.
Could it be for accountability and disposability?
maybe accountability, maybe to take on when they're wrong and when they're right.
But aren't men the disposable gender when it comes to war?
Yes. Yes.
You're right, but I just feel as though that them there would let the women know.
Do you think that women were protected throughout history as privilege, or were they protected as society's investment, as if they were all baby factories?
I think they were protected as investments due to the men really knowing the value of them. But once they stepped out into the workforce, whether it be sex or stripping or exploiting themselves and making an independent living on that, I think the value really just disappeared on all senses of the word of what a woman should be.
A lot of the issues that I bring up on my channel are often met with responses like, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
If it does go both ways, why do women dominate the mainstream media when they talk about women's issues while men's issues are forced to remain online?
I think it can go both ways, but if we're talking about like sexual assault cases or stuff like that,
Here we go.
The majority is men on women. So like, yes, it can go both ways, and if you're a victim of that, that is really shitty. But I think right now we're like focusing on the bigger picture, and it's like women's safety, you know, and women's equality.
No. Everybody has an agenda, and I think that the media is there to get ratings and get views, and it's not necessarily factual in nature a lot of times.
All right, okay, man. Shout out to It's Complicated for coming through with the fire video called Valuable and Disposable. Okay, so first impressions of me watching this for the first time, yeah, this one was definitely a killer. This one was definitely fire, man, because he got to basically ask his line of questioning to try to highlight and expose the contradictions, the double standards, and the hypocrisy of what goes on in society in terms of agendas and everything that's going on, to try to flip everything upside down and just blur the lines and cause a bunch of confusion, so that way things can just get ruined and destroyed even more so than what they are now. Now, there was a whole lot of cap. A whole lot of cap. A whole lot of cap.
Stop the cap.
That took place in this video. Now, what I did like is that when they started to cap a little bit, he hit them with some logical questions, and then it forced them to to reroute their brains and redirect their answer to go towards the logic. Because if you try to blatantly deny logic, then I mean you're crazy. You're crazy. So overall, this was a great set of interviews. You can clearly see the biases between the men and women in terms of their answers. But what you also got to see is how the feminist indoctrination is working. Because initially, you had a couple of these guys on here giving these feminist answers, but then when he started to really hit them with the logic and really bring up some historical facts, then it made them stop in their tracks and say, wait a minute, yeah, I think you kind of have a point. So I have yet to see you miss, brother. When it comes to these videos and when it comes to these interviews, this man remains undefeated. You get all those, man, because you stay undefeated, you stay logically consistent, and you don't back down, and you don't bow down to the BS, man. So one more shout out to It's Complicated. And that is pretty much my reaction, man. So if you like the video, go ahead and give this video a like. Share with a couple of your friends. Make sure you follow me on my social media sites. And if you got something specific, go ahead and drop it in that comment section, man. It's your boy AnonymousBased. Peace.
She be looking like E.T. Can we go on a date, bitch, please? Swag. Handcuff a hoe, bitch, please. First cut. The girl love my steez. Okay. She be looking like E.T. Can we go on a date, bitch, please? Handcuff a hoe, bitch, please. Hey, the girl love my swag. Popping out 2 mags. Came out with the swag and the bag. Bitch tryna jump.